All right, everyone, it is time for recent, so to speak, pickups. It's probably been a few months since the last one, and I probably have collected enough things over time to make a video. So here's the first items. First is Crystalis for the NES. Great game if you've never played it before. Similar to like Zelda, but with some slight RPG elements. It's probably like a mix of Zelda 1 and 2. Zelda 1's gameplay style with Zelda 2's leveling up and things like that. There was a release for the Game Boy Color, but it was kind of spoiled by the fact that they changed the soundtrack. Now, maybe some people prefer the new soundtrack. I do not. I won't spoil the game necessarily as far as the story or anything in case you haven't played it, but we will give it a test in a little bit. Next game is Space Invaders for the Game Boy with Super Game Boy functionality. Now, you might be thinking Space Invaders, wow, big deal. If you played one version, you've played them all, and you would not be wrong, but there's a special feature about this cartridge that we'll cover in a minute. And next is this box here that's not in shot, but it's a decently sized box, and it's from Japan. Let's see what I picked up. It is a very dirty and severely yellowed Famicom. However, it wasn't the purpose of the purchase, it just was a bonus. So, as you can see, it is filthy. Absolutely filthy. Even the little sticker here shows some signs of yellowing behind it. But it's also yellowed. Now, again, I didn't pick it up because I wanted another Famicom. It just came as part of the bundle. Even the controllers are severely worn, but that's fine. What I'll do is I'll test it at a later date, see if it works, try to refurbish it, get it working, etc. What I really wanted, however, was this. Initially, I wasn't going to pick one up right away. It was suggested by a couple of commenters on the Famicom restoration video that I did previously, but I kept an eye out just in case, and eventually found one for a reasonable price. I mean, it's going to need to be repaired. Apparently, it's not working, but it does come with the memory pack and the original AC adapter, although because this is 100 volt, not 110, 120, can't really be used here in North America anyway, but I can use another adapter for that. That's fine. Also, for some reason, they included a piece of coax cable. Not sure why. More than likely, this is going to need the belt replaced. It's probably going to need the heads cleaned if there's nothing else wrong with it. Battery compartment appears to be clean. No corrosion, that is. And I don't see any other components or anything, so this will be a fun project for sure. Now, I went with a full repair one because a working one goes for a ton of money. I mean, even a lot of the ones that were for repair were going for $70+. This I picked up with the Famicom, shipped and everything for about $50. So I figured, you know what, let me just jump on it. If it doesn't work, and I can always wait and try to find another one, marry the parts together, things like that. It looks like this button is stuck, so either a spring or maybe because there's no disc in there. I'm not sure. That's the other thing. I don't have any games for this thing. I'm going to have to find one. Maybe someone locally has one. And yeah, so keep an eye out for this video sometime in the future if it hasn't already come out yet. I'm not sure exactly when I'll do it, but at some point I'm going to have to obviously tackle it. So if you guys have any tips or suggestions or anything like that, leave them in the comments below. I have some forums that I've been paying attention to that definitely have a lot of tips and suggestions for this thing. All right, well, let's test out Crystalis first, and let's see if it works. Oh, there's some glitching going on. I might need to clean the cartridge. Let me do that, and I'll be right back. All right, let's try again. SNK logo, that's a good sign. We didn't even see that before. No glitching. Those little lines at the bottom there above the life meter, the HUD, that's normal that it exists in every copy of the game, it seems, and on any console. So, all right, but it seems to be working. The battery, I don't know if the saves on here were wiped out or if the battery's dead. It probably is. It's from 1990. But yeah, so this one's working. Let's move on to Space Invaders. All right, we're going to use the Super Game Boy to test it. And it should switch to the custom border since it's Super Game Boy game, and it does. And you'll see there's two modes, Super Game Boy and Arcade. We'll go with Super Game Boy first. Now, these three options here will mimic the original arcade to an extent. The black and white cellophane basically is, in order for them to do kind of like a pseudo color mode, they put cellophane over the screen. And yeah, there's your color. So we'll do black and white for now. And it's Space Invaders on your Game Boy. That's all there is to it. But I'm going to show you guys the arcade mode because that's the surprise. Space Invaders are now invading your Super NES. That's the key right there. Notice now the game is in full screen. Fancy little animation. Definitely not the kind of sound you'd expect out of a Game Boy, or graphics even. And the reason for that is because this is an actual Super Nintendo Super Famicom game hiding inside of the Game Boy. I'm not sure how it works. I'm assuming there's some code in the Game Boy cart that passes on to the Super Game Boy saying, hey, bypass this section of the ROM, go to this section, and just let the Super Nintendo do what it needs to do. So, but yeah, I thought this was the coolest thing when it came out, and it's the main reason why I bought it. And I'm really surprised that no other company took advantage of this functionality. Not even Nintendo. They could have probably done something with Donkey Kong, which was kind of remastered and re-released for the Game Boy and Super Game Boy. Original 4 stages on there, as well as bonus stages. So, but it seems to be working just fine. So yeah, so that's, I had to pick it up just because of that fun little novelty of it. I mean, who would have ever thought that you'd be able to hide a Super Nintendo game inside of a Game Boy cartridge? So, but yeah, like I said, I'm really surprised no other companies took advantage of it, not even Nintendo. Like I said, they could have done something with Donkey Kong and done like maybe the original 4 stages in 16-bit or something like that. But no one else did. Title did, and I think that probably sold more copies than it normally would have. So that's it for this section of the pickups. Next. All right, I got a couple more things to show off. Next is both from eBay. And in that box is an atomic fireball. The more important thing is I got one of these. It's a blue SCSI designed for various different, different SCSI based devices like the classic Mac line and others. It's using a DB25 connector, so this is for external use. Most commonly found on the original Mac line, Mac Classics, and I think some of the other models too. So I picked one of these up for a project, and if you haven't seen it already, you'll be seeing it soon. Next, we'll take a look at the cube-shaped box and see what's in here. And in that box is this Famicom Disk System game. Forget what it was called in English, but it's obviously a baseball game. Had to look it up, but it's called Exciting Baseball Famicom Disk System FDS US sellers. That's the listing, so it's just Exciting Baseball. And it looks like it has A and B side. Again, I don't know what that says. Let me see if Google Translate will show me anything. All right, let's see here. There we go. So not quite accurate, but accurate enough. Exciting baseball. There we go. Now, I got this because if you remember at the last round of pickups, or maybe it's in this one, I forget. It's been a while. I picked up a Famicom Disk System to try and fix up and get working to pair up with my not too recently refurbished and modded Famicom. So, needed a game to test. Here we go. This was one of the cheapest ones. We'll continue on up. And the next item that I have to show off that I picked up is this package, of course, again from eBay. Let's see what I got. And inside is Wonder Boy in Monsterland for the Master System. If you watched my Master System restoration video a while back, you'll know that I got one and I got it working. I only own one game for it though, and it's Hang On and Safari Hunt, so I wanted an actual game to play. Sorry for fans of that Hang On and Safari Hunt, but I wanted something that I can actually play and enjoy and stuff, and I want to build up a little bit of a collection, so I figured I'd start with this. So let's go ahead and make sure this works. Now I'm going to be testing on the Mega SG, just because it's more convenient for me at this point. So let's go ahead and see if it will work or not. Now, I've never played this game before, so I have no idea what to do. But it does seem to work. Interesting. As you can see, I'm a master of this game, so it seems like a really simple but fun game. Two hits, that's it. Oh, dang. But yeah, as you can see, game works fine, so cool. I got another addition to my collection. Let's go ahead, and like I said, if there's anything else, we'll move on. Alright, and some additional pickups. I picked up a few games. Well, technically this isn't a game, it's more of a sampler. I have no idea what it actually is, but at $4 I figured, why not? Didn't come with a case or anything, so I have this bag here. Give that a test in a little bit. Also picked up a copy of Soul Calibur 4 for the 360. It was on my list, and I found it, so I picked it up. Also from the same location, I picked up a Sega CD game, Cobra Command, so I can test that Sega CD that I bought, the one that's for repair. And no real heavy scratches, just some minor scuffs and things like that. So the cheapest Sega CD game I've been able to find locally. So I figured I'll get that, we can test it. And then the last thing, coming around the same time, is a package from eBay. So nice box, so it's not just a fluffed up bag with padding. That's a good sign. What I picked up was a complete in-box copy of Double Dragon for the Master System. Now, the box is a little worse for wear. The label is a little bent here just because of the damage to the plastic on it, but that's not a big deal. But I picked it up because it is complete cartridge, the manual, and Spring-Summer game catalog. That's one of the reasons why I actually wanted this particular Double Dragon as opposed to another one. Plus, this wasn't actually that bad of a price. So, but it's got this neat little booklet in here with just like this games list coming out. So I won't go through this in here. I might just do a little short or something like that to go over this. Or I may include this with a bunch of other manuals and guides that I picked up well over a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago at this point. So we have to test to make sure this works. So of course, I can go on eBay and review it. And we'll start with the UMD sampler disc. Oh, good, I have some juice left. Alright, so it is just a game demo disc. Some of these are probably videos. The heck yeah. It's a neat little thing to have though. So this one seems to be just a video. In fact, these might all just be videos. I suppose also demonstrating the video playback capability of the PSP, so... Yep, so just videos. So that's all there is to that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these cartridge-based games. Well, the one cartridge-based game. Alright, let me go ahead and test Double Dragon on the Master System first. That's better. Kicking my butt a little bit here, but so it seems to work just fine. Let's see if I can get the Xbox 360 going, because I have it partially disconnected, and we will test Soul Calibur 4. So far, so good. Seems to play just fine.
Soul Calibur 4. Training start.
So it seems to work just fine. Unfortunately, I cannot test the Sega CD game out yet because of obvious reasons. I suppose I could put it into a computer and see if it's even readable, but nah. we'll save that for when I get to refurbishing the Sega CD. So stay tuned for that at some point in the future. Well, here's everything all in one shot here. You guys approve of my pickups? Any suggestions maybe for the future? Any tips on any of these games here? I mean, I've played Crystalis before, so I know how that goes, but Wonder Boy Monsterland, never really played that, so, and no idea what Cobra Command is about, or the baseball game, so, yeah, thanks guys for watching, as usual, I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you later.